Everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Lee Hall and this is Push the Edge, where I'm going to be sharing with you my adventures related to hiking, travel, etc., and all around the world, and talking about a lot of the processes and sort of nitty-gritty details that go into making these kinds of things possible. So today I want to talk to you about why I have decided, I haven't done it yet, but why I have decided to hike the Grand Canyon rim to rim in a single day. Now, a quick bit of background on the Grand Canyon rim to rim hike. It clocks in at around 24 miles. I think it's just slightly under 24 miles. It is considered to be extremely strenuous. It is not recommended that you do it in a single day. As a matter of fact, when I was researching this, a lot of stuff that I was reading was like, don't do this in a single day. It's considered pretty dangerous to do so. And obviously, there's only so many times during the year, given the weather and the heat, when it's going to be appropriate to do this. Now, I'm going to have another video that gives an overview of the hike. There are also plenty of videos on YouTube where people document doing this hike that you can look at. In this video, what I really want to get at is why did I decide to do this, right? What on earth am I thinking? Because this was a hike that was never, ever on my radar, okay? What happened is I completed the Sky Pond hike in Rocky Mountain National Park in fall of 2020. And if you have not done that hike, I highly recommend it. It is a fabulous hike. A little scary with the falls that you have to climb. I didn't particularly like that, but definitely worth doing at least once. So I was talking to my brother. My brother lives in Florida. I live in Colorado. My brother had been out to visit me on a previous trip, and we had gone as far as the lock. If you know the Sky Pond hike, then if you've ever been out there, right, you can hike. One of the places that you get to is the lock, and you can keep going and eventually get to Sky Pond. But we stopped at the lock. So I was telling him about the Sky Pond hike and what happened from the place where we stopped out to Sky Pond. And I was sending him pictures, and I said, you know what, I'm going to send you a link with some more information. So I was searching around looking for some good information descriptions on Sky Pond, and I came across this list of, it was like the top 20 or top 25 best hikes in US national parks. And the Grand Canyon rim to rim was on this list, and I'm reading it, and I've been to the Grand Canyon a couple of times, once on a rafting trip, once just, on a quick sightseeing trip, but I've never done any hiking in it. And I was reading it and I thought, this sounds incredible. This sounds amazing. And so I started reading about it more and more, learning about exactly how strenuous and dangerous it can be, particularly to do it in a single day. And ultimately, I found a company that I could go with that takes groups, I think about maybe groups of roughly 20 people, on rim to rim hikes. And they do it, they get you in and out in a single day, and they run these hikes a few times each year. I think a couple times in May and a couple times in September. And so once I found this group that I could utilize, a lot of concerns about doing the hike were lifted for me, right? So I didn't have to think about transportation, right? Because you go in on one side, you come out the other, you have to get a shuttle, you have to arrange lodging, all of this stuff. The group, by signing up for it, they're going to provide transportation. They were going to provide a little bit of food. They were going to take care of all the lodging arrangements, right? They were going to get you in and get you out. I was going to have trained guides who knew that trail well, had medical certifications and so on. So a lot of concerns about the dangers and just overall hassle with coordinating, a hike like this, that was immediately lifted. So that relieved a lot of pressure. That helped me really start to see it as, okay, at least logistically, right? I can start to see how this can be doable, all right? But I also didn't want to do this hike alone. I really wanted somebody to go with me, and I had a little bit of difficulty maybe finding someone, but somehow I managed to get my brother to sign on for this. And so I just want to say it's been wonderful to be able to share this whole experience with him. So this is, back in 2020, somewhere, I think in the fall, when my brother and I sort of made this commitment that we were going to do this. And now I've got somebody to do it with me. I've got the logistics. I found a company that logistically is going to handle a lot of stuff, have trained guides, right, with medical certifications, etc. on the trip. So that's helping. And then it came down to training nutrition, hydration, right, and those sorts of things, right, and learning what I was going to have to do to be prepared for something like this, because I'd never done anything like this in my life, okay? But I had plenty of time to figure that out, because we had agreed that we wouldn't do this until fall of 2022, and we're, kind of making this decision in the end of 2020, right? So we have plenty of time to figure this stuff out. But beyond the nuts and bolts, beyond the fact that, obviously we're going to get to hike through this just incredible scenery, I really needed a challenge, okay? And, I needed a goal to work towards. And this really just seemed like the perfect fit to me. Sometimes things just click. You know it when you know it. I am the kind of person that needs a challenge. It can be a challenge in my work life. It can be a challenge in my professional life. With COVID and things being shut down, I had kind of stagnated all around, right? It wasn't like a lot of stuff at work was kind of flatlined. A lot of stuff, obviously, like in my personal life, right? And what you can do and where you can go, that had kind of flatlined. And I'm just the kind of person that if I don't have a challenge, I found that I'll get kind of depressed and sad and whatever. And if one doesn't naturally appear, I'll go out and make it happen. And so this had appeared, and I found a way that I could make it happen. And I will tell you, signing on for this, even though we hadn't officially, we had picked out, we knew the group that we wanted to go with. We knew we were going to hire, right, the guides, etc. But of course, we didn't have to pay for that when we made this agreement, my brother and I, to do this. But still, we collectively agreed that we were going to do it and start working towards it. That was just scary in and of itself. It was initially scary, but over time it has gotten less scary, and it's starting to really seem very doable. And what I'm going to be talking about in upcoming videos, I'm going to share this process with you and how I managed to get from a place of fear to one of excitement in this journey. So stay tuned.